Hi guys, this is Mizzy here from Mizzy's Parrots. I just found out this morning that a fellow YouTuber and parrot mom named Marlene, she lost her mustache ringneck, and I just feel so terribly for her right now because I personally know what that feels like. I myself lost my ringneck a total of 5 times, but one of those times he was actually gone for 2 whole weeks. So this video is for you, Marlene, and for anyone else out there who lost one of their babies. Maybe this video about my experience can offer you a little bit of hope and show you that there absolutely can be light at the end of the tunnel. So the way that I lost Sir William, it was about 15 years ago. My little sister was only 10 years old at the time, and she had left our sliding glass door wide open. I didn't know that. I walked into the area. Sir William was on my shoulder here, and a very, very loud truck went up the hill. So when he heard that, he flew, and we just happened to be near the open door, so he just kind of took off right out the door. He landed in a nearby tree, and it was a very extremely tall tree, so we had no idea how in the world we were going to get him down. My parents decided to call the fire department, thinking that maybe they could use their ladder to kind of get up there and reach him. 2 fire trucks did come, and they tried their best to get him down, but it turns out that the ladder was still about, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 feet too short. We weren't able to reach him. So at this point, I'm completely devastated. I literally I watched my heart and soul fly right out of my house, and I didn't know what was gonna happen next. I didn't know if I was ever gonna see him again. For quite a few hours, he stayed right in that immediate area. When we couldn't get him out of the tree with the fire truck, we did decide to kind of make loud noises to get him to fly out of that tree, hoping that he would be pretty exhausted by that point and he would kind of fly down to the ground. But instead, we honked the horns on the fire truck, and he just kind of kept doing laps in like the air, like really high up in the air. And we just watched him through the binoculars, not knowing where he was gonna go. And he kept doing this for hours, literally. He would come out of the tree, do a couple laps, go back in the tree. And there was actually one point that was kind of funny, and I still talk about it to this day. He came across a family of pigeons, and he went right after them and let them know who's boss. He's like, okay, I'm taking over this tree. This is my branch. Get out of here. After he got out of that tree, he took off again, and that was it. I didn't see him after that. We have no idea where he went, what direction he was in, if he was in a tree. We literally had no idea where he went. So a couple of days passed, and I still had no clue where he was. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, nothing. I was crying the entire time. I had migraines from, lack of sleep and just constantly crying. I was very depressed. I basically, I felt like I lost my child. There's no other way to explain it. He's my pet. I take care of him. He depends on me. And now he's out in the wild, and I have no idea how he's gonna survive. My sister's friend noticed an ad in the paper saying nothing other than lost parakeet, contact, and then there's a phone number. So at first I was like, okay, this is too good to be true. It's probably not him, because most people, they see his size and they just call him a parrot. They don't realize that he's actually a parakeet. So I'm thinking maybe it's for a budgie or another small bird. But of course, I had to take the chance, and I called that number anyway. A very nice woman answered. I explained to her that I seen her ad and I was missing my parakeet. So she asked me for a complete description, both physical and his personality. After I said, the big honking red beak and the ring around his neck as well as the lime green, she was like, okay, that sounds familiar. And then I said, he's also a bit of a jerk. He likes to bite people that aren't me, and he has an extreme attitude. And she just laughed, and she was like, I definitely have your bird. I'm like, oh my God, this can't be true. At that point, I think it was 10 or 11 days into him being missing. We just assumed that he wasn't alive anymore. She asked where I lived, and I got all excited. I immediately gave her my address, and then she's like, no, you don't understand. I don't live in Pennsylvania. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, you posted the ad in Scranton, Pennsylvania, our newspaper. And she's like, yeah, that's because that's where we found him, but I don't live here. I'm in New York. So she explained that what happened was he had flown to the Steamtown Mall, which is now called the Scranton Marketplace, and he landed right on somebody's shoulder. And, you know, that to me probably just meant that he was done being outside and he really wanted, you know, to find his way back home. So he landed on the first person he found. And the guy that he landed on lived in Virginia, and he was a magician. So he actually brought Sir William into the manager's office and said, you know, if it's okay, I would like to take him home because maybe I could use him for my magic tricks. And, you know, the manager of the mall said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. This isn't a typical bird that you would find outside, so this has to be somebody's pet, and I really think that we should try to find the owner. So that manager of the mall, who he's not there anymore, unfortunately, and I don't even know his name, which I really wish that I did, because I would love to, you know, let them know that I still have him, he's still alive. I would love to contact them. So if by chance you're watching this video, definitely message me. He took Sir William home. And they took him to a vet, which I thought was really incredibly sweet. They wanted to have him checked out. The vet is the one who had suggested to them that they list him as a parakeet in the ad, because he said that the true owner should know that he's a parakeet, and then that should limit the amount of phone calls that they get. So anyways, this lady said, you know, we can't bring him home today. But what we can do is we'll bring him down tomorrow, because my husband, you know, goes back to work, and you can pick him up at the mall. So the next morning we went down to Steamtown Mall, and everyone knew why we were there. The whole entire building, all the staff, all the stores, they all heard about what happened, and they were anxious to meet this little girl who lost her crazy bird. So we get there, and the security officers right away, they escorted us all the way through the mall to the back of the to the manager's office. They opened the door, and Sir William seen me, and right away he started screaming. He was chirping, he was flapping his wings, he was getting all excited. The manager of the mall was like, oh my God, like the whole time that we've had him, he's been like miserable. Like, I've never seen him react like this. And I was like, yeah, that's because like he literally, I didn't realize he's not in the video. He literally is my baby. Like, this is my baby right here. So one thing to keep in mind with ringnecks is they are very self-sufficient. So even though Sir William here had no experience being out in the wild, he was able to defend himself, and he found food and water and shelter and things like that. You know, he was gone for over a week before they found him, so obviously he did learn how to survive. His instincts kicked in. So with you, especially you, Marlene, having, you know, a mustache ringneck, I'm sure that he figured out how to survive. Don't assume the worst. Don't dwell on it. It's only going to make you think that you did something wrong, and you didn't. These things happen, unfortunately. They do. It's a fact of life. We don't live in a perfect world. We certainly don't have perfect animals, and we're not perfect. So accidents happen. Now, for a long time, I did blame my little sister for her opening the door, because at 10 years old, I thought, you know, she should have known better. However, how far can you go with the blaming? Like, I could also blame the truck driver for driving up the road at that exact time and scaring him and making him fly away. You know what I mean? I could blame the firefighters for not trying hard enough or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. Just have to continue on, and you have to definitely take time to be upset, because that's normal, and to hold it in would be terrible. And I feel for you so greatly, because I know how hard that is and what that feels like. That is the worst pain. Like, I would never wish that on my worst enemy, to lose, you know, your baby. But like, life has to go on. Do whatever you can to find him, and I know that you are. Just have faith. Just have hope. You know, I didn't have much hope, and look what happened for me. Alright guys, thanks for checking out this video. I'm really sorry again to you, Marlene. I wish you the best. If there's anything I could do to help, let me know. I'm just so far away from you, and I hate that because I'm such like the type of person where, like, if my neighbor was like, oh, I lost my dog, I would run out there right now trying to find that dog. I'm such an animal person, and especially with parrots, I'm such a parrot person. So to know that there's an animal out there missing right now, like, I hate that feeling, and I'm so upset for you. But please keep everybody updated, and just let me know if you need anything from me.